Hey, so I just saw, or recently saw, that they're going to do the Sig P365 EDC Championship again this year in 2022. I know it's been a while, but I shot it in 2021 and I kind of wanted to talk about it. I have the stages for you guys to check out from 2021. And there was just, if you're thinking about shooting, there's a couple of things you should know about it. So I have quite an extensive con list, but I have a few pros. We'll talk about the pros first, and then then you can see the stages, and then hang in there, and I'll tell you some of the things I didn't like about the match. Like I said, there's a number of them, but starting with the things I did like, it was held at the Sig Academy, so I hadn't been there. It's in New Hampshire somewhere, Epping, New Hampshire. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it was cool. I was flying into Detroit to visit my mom and then shoot an IDPA match in Michigan somewhere, and I heard about this SIG match, and I was like, well, I got a 365. I'll just bring that with me, and I'll shoot this match, shoot two matches in that vacation instead of just the one. And and then I just borrowed her Suburban and drove 12 hours or 14 hours to Epping, New Hampshire, which is kind of cool. I hadn't been east. I spent most of, little time in Michigan, lived most on the West Coast. So hadn't spent much time on the East Coast. Driving and seeing that area was cool. So that was definitely a plus. And the Sig Academy was beautiful. I got lost just trying to find the, section of bays or the range that this match was going to be on. Another good thing, you got a discount at the pro shop. So I ended up buying a slide. I think I bought a whole slide and barrel and recoil, a whole slide assembly, just because the discount was good enough for me to buy it there and take it home rather than trying to, find it online for cheaper or something. Another thing, it's 365. Everybody's shooting the same gun. I think they had like 6 divisions, all 365 guns, but there was like 365 XL, 365 with the XL with a red dot, or 365 just dot. And then there was like an open division where you could have carry comps, and so that was kind of cool. I didn't have carry comps or any of that stuff, and I'm mostly an iron shooter, but then they had 365 XL irons and 365 irons. And so I shot it with the 365 XL iron sighted. So that was pretty cool, and I was carrying that gun at the time, so that was pretty cool. I wasn't carrying it very often, but every once in a while. So running the gun that you're going to carry if you carry the 365 is pretty cool. And the last thing I have down here for pros is that it was a match that they ran it from I think it was like a Tuesday through a Sunday. So that was why I was able to go, is because there was enough time for me to get in a car, drive to Epping, New Hampshire, sleep in a Walmart parking lot in the back of a Suburban, and then shoot the match the next day, drive most of the way back, sleep in the Suburban at a rest stop, and then make it home and have a day in between, and hit the IDPA level 2 match after that. So they had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think they did even on Sunday. So they had 6 days where you could come and shoot this thing. So I guess there wasn't a whole lot to it enough to make it so difficult that they could only do it on a number of days. So anyway, next up, check out the stages. And I think that some of the stuff that you'll see when you see the stages, you'll understand what my cons are going to be. But hang out, and I'll come back for those at the end.
Hit. Get low left.
Okay.
That's too far right.
I'm out.
All right. 12 every 9.
Ouch.
Thank you. If you're finished.
finished, unload, shoot, clear. Slide forward, pull the trigger, and hold.
Okay. Go ahead and top off your next string. 5, 4, 3. Do me a
5,
favor, just
4,
keep it
3.
low 45 and take 2 steps to the side. Is the shooter ready? Shooter indicates ready. Stand by.
Go ahead and top off with a fresh mag.
395.
Transition over there. 395 all 0. Alright, aim in at the top of the barricade. Are you ready? Stand by. Alright, if you're finished, unload, show. If you're finished, go ahead, unload and show clear.
It finished. Unload. It finished. Top off for the next string. Nope, top it off. Are you ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Okay, so those are the stages. So as you can see, there was not a lot of, I don't know, I didn't, so the first thing to say about it, I guess, is that it didn't live up to what I expected it to be, because there just wasn't a lot of info that came out. I mean, there wasn't a lot. So there was, something on SIG's website about, we're going to do this, and they said there's going to be IDPA scoring. So I guess maybe I extrapolated from that it would be more like an IDPA match, but it was more like ASI. It was really kind of just, there was, this is another con that I have next on the list, is there was no movement whatsoever. I mean, there was no, shoot around a wall, run to over there and shoot from around that wall. There was nothing like that. It was just everything is standing. There were some moving targets, but that's cool. But, I really thought that there would be, because it said something about like, oh, these are everyday carry situations. And I can kind of see how they're going for that. There was like a stage where you're at a gas pump and you got to, pretend you're shooting around the car and stuff like that. So, and to that end, like, yeah, I get it. Most situations where people use a handgun in self-defense, it's not a, 18 round course of fire or a 32 round, long course in USPSA, but that's the fun stuff. So I expected there to be a little bit of like, yeah, this is realistic, but this is also super fun. So let's do some of the fun stuff. And they also brought in, old IDPA stuff. I mean, stuff that even IDPA is like too fuddy for IDPA to do anymore. They're doing that. They were doing tactical sequence, which is like, there's 3 targets in a row and you got to shoot 1, 1, 1, and then you can finish the rest. And before everybody gets one before anybody gets another is the adage that I remember from shooting IDPA back when that was a rule. And that just causes a whole lot of confusion, and I don't really get that. I think the idea is like if 3 people are charging you, you want to shoot them each once so that they stop, and then shoot them again. I don't know. I really don't get it. And anyway, like I said, it's too fuddy for IDPA anymore. So, but totally cool for that match. And then next on the list, you saw the stages. Other than one big stage, they're pretty much the same. There's like, hey, stand right here, and there's 3 targets out there. Shoot all 3. I mean, there's only by the time that like I got to, I don't know how many there were. I mean, I can't remember, the 10 stages maybe. But by the time I got to like 5, I'm like, oh, okay, this is, I'm ready to go. Like I don't want to shoot this same stage again. So yeah. And then there was the one where, and it was my fault. There's the long stage where it was like steel, really far steel. It was like 60 yards. And so I'm like, yeah, okay. Is there a possibility that you might need to shoot 60 yards with your 365? Sure. And there was a ton of people who did it, and I replaced the sights on that gun, and I didn't think to check where it was hitting it at any kind of distance, and so I couldn't hit it. So that sucked for me. But I mean, that is what it is. I didn't think that was terribly realistic, but whatever. This is kind of a small complaint, but there was like knives and shit painted on the target. Like, I don't know. I guess that's a thing that people like to identify. Like, it's still just a cardboard target. I mean, if you put a knife or a gun on it, and I know the hands for, don't shoot me and all that, but like, seems like that would take up a shit ton of time to put that all on there. Where maybe we could have spent that time building walls or something to run around, or designing stages that aren't the exact same as the one you just shot. So, I don't know. This is sort of a con. It's sort of I don't really know if it's a con or a pro, but the best stage was the one where it was single or strong hand only on for me the left, because I'm left-handed, and weak hand only on the right, and then steel in the back. That'd have been super, like, even though it's still stand and shoot, it's more than 3 targets, but it would have been a cool stage if I could have just shot the whole thing two-handed, because it'd been fun to try and just blaze that thing down. But it was, not only was it strong hand only and then weak hand only, it was strong hand only, weak hand only, and limited. So it was like, you're crushing people. I mean, like, I did okay on it. I was super happy with the way it went for me. Because, there was lots of people who left steel standing, because if you shoot at it, you can't shoot at it again. And, there were some pretty, far shots for such a little gun, shooting one-handed only, so limited, and I was just like, this could have been really fun, but instead, the way you wrote it, it sucks. So, it is what it is. Overall, like, I'm happy I did it, because I had fun, and I'm kind of into that. Like, let's see if I can squeeze this match in and drive down the road and sleep in the car and see how cheap I can do this. It's just fun. So, would I do it again? Certainly not. If you're thinking about going, I mean, if you can get more information about how they're going to, if they're going to do this match again this way, like, no thanks. I'll skip it, because you guys know I like shooting little guns. It's fun. But I like shooting guns in stages that are fun, and that the stages just weren't not anywhere near, an acceptable. So especially as far as I'm coming. I mean, like, if you think about the whole thing, like, I came from Seattle to shoot this match, and my local matches are way more complex and more fun than that. So anyway, it's not something I would do again. If you're close by and you want to shoot it, have a good time.